Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Hong Kong police have made their first arrests under a new anti-protest law imposed by China as crowds marked 23 years since the end of British rule. At least 7 people have been accused of violating the law, including a man with a pro-independence flag. Nearly 200 others have been detained at a banned rally. The national law targets session, subversion and terrorism, with punishments of up to life in prison. Activists and foreign countries have said it erodes freedom, but China has dismissed the criticism. It comes as the UK Prime Minister said the country would open a pathway to British citizenship for around 3 million Hong Kong British national passport holders as a result of the new laws.
The enactment and imposition of this national security law constitutes a clear and serious breach of the Sino-British Joint Declaration. It violates Hong Kong's high degree of autonomy and is in direct conflict with Hong Kong basic law. The law also threatens the freedoms and rights protected by the Joint Declaration.
In Russia, Moscow residents have headed to polling stations on the final day of voting on constitutional changes that could allow President Vladimir Putin to stay in power until 2036. State exit polls have suggested the changes will be backed by over 2/3 of voters, who have been encouraged to vote with prize draws offering flats and an ad campaign highlighting other amendments designed to appeal to Russians. The vote was held over 7 days to try to limit the spread of the new coronavirus. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has signed a decree to extend an emergency payment to informal workers, cushioning the blow of the COVID-19 crisis. The monthly payment of 600 reais, previously set to expire this month, has provided a lifeline to struggling Brazilians and a boost to Bolsonaro's popularity among the poorer voters he has traditionally struggled with. But some presidential advisers have warned that emergency spending during the pandemic cannot stretch on indefinitely, pointing to national debt that may soon exceed GDP. A boat that sank on Lake Van in eastern Turkey is believed to have been carrying 55 to 60 migrants. That's according to the Interior Minister, who added that 6 bodies had been recovered so far. Suleiman Soylu said that 11 people have been detained in relation to the incident, which took place on Saturday. Search and rescue operations are still taking place. The lake is located on the path of migrants attempting to reach Western Turkey and Europe from Iran, Afghanistan and other countries. Italian police have seized around 14 tons of amphetamine Captagon pills from Syria worth around €1 billion in what they describe as one of the world's largest single hauls of the drug. Investigators said they have found 3 containers full of paper cylinders for industrial use at the southern Italian port of Salerno, with about 84 million pills inside. Syria has become a major amphetamines exporter and consumer as the trauma of its civil war fueled demand and the breakdown in law and order created opportunities for producers. International and regional powers have agreed at talks to intensify a military campaign against Islamist militants in the West African Sahel region, with French President Emmanuel Macron saying victory over the jihadists was within grasp. Militant attacks in the Sahel region have increased over the last 2 years, especially in the tri-border region of Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali, known as Liptako Gourma, where local authorities have been overrun. Mauritania hosted a meeting of the leaders of the 5 Sahel nations, as well as France and Spain, to plot future strategy in the south of the Sahara. Africa's biggest soccer tournament, the Africa Cup of Nations, has been postponed for 1 year and will now take place in 2022. The global health crisis has disrupted all forms of the game across the continent, and so organisers decided there was now not enough time to complete the qualification process in time for the final tournament. AFCON was due to take place in Cameroon in early January next year. And finally, the acclaimed composer Max Richter has announced the release of a new album called Voices, which features multiple narrators reading parts of the 70-year-old Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
All human beings are born free and equal.
The Voices read parts of the text in their native language, which asserts that every person has the right to life, liberty and security without distinction, such as by race, colour, social origin, religion or politics. The album will be released on July the 31st, while the track All Human Beings, taken from the album, has just been released as a single. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.